Exterior, a residential street afternoon. A bearded Edward DeBont dodges quickly to avoid a shot recently fired by Samson DeBont, his bitter rival, his brother, who he has been running from frantically for weeks, but who just tracked him down.
I don't want to kill you! Please, don't make me do this to my brother! Stop! Stop running! Stop running! I didn't know I was your son. I wouldn't have killed him if I knew.
No excuse can calm Samson's anger. He says goodbye to Edward using only his eyes. I have no idea how to convey that to an actor.
Samson, why'd you make me do this? I love you, you're my brother!
And I love my son.
Goodbye, Samson.
Freaking killing his brother? What was that? Maybe I have issues that are unresolved. Interior, a college apartment hallway, afternoon. Edward has just welcomed back his beautiful girlfriend who has been away on break and needs a breather. It seems she really missed him. He finds Alex crying out in the hall and Edward tries to comfort him. Hey, we'll get better in time, brother.
You don't understand. You can't possibly understand.
I don't know how it is when a lady leaves you. You know, they leave you right when you're at your peak, so you have nowhere but down to go.
No, you don't understand. It's different.
Did you love her? Did she love you? You know, love feels different every time, but the way people react is always the same. It's like you either spend your time trying to celebrate how great the match is, or, you know, you come to realize that you're better off without that person.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do you even know me? Who are you?
Look, I needed some air. My girlfriend just got back from a long trip and apparently she really missed me. I needed a break. I came outside and I saw you crying. Look, I want to help you.
My fiance died 3 days before our wedding. God let her die. God let her go to hell. Look, I tried to save her. I tried to save her, but God didn't give her a chance. I see demons. I see one behind you right now. I know how to get rid of them, but I'm not going to. I hate God. I'm not going to give him another chance. I'm not going to do his will.
That's pretty messed up. Why is Edward DeBont adding in about his girlfriend? This man is fighting a battle with God. Edward is doing so probably because you're alone on a deserted island and trying to live vicariously through your characters. People don't want to hear about heartbreak and God melodrama. They want shooting through hearts and the wrath of God. I'm on an island alone, and I'm writing about this. Interior, a writer's home, morning. A successful action film writer types away at his computer. His coffee sits at his right hand, and his perfect wife, Eliza, comes in.
No, no, no! An unsuccessful fiction writer types away at the same typewriter he has had for all his life. His stale coffee sits at his left hand and the pages are really flowing today. He is finally writing what he wants to write. Edward de Bont pulls out his most recent page and reads it aloud.
In Edward's early childhood, he flew up into the sky and a voice called out to him announcing that he was God. He didn't believe the voice, for all he knew could make no sense of such a decree. He went on living his life normally until a cult follower attempted to kill him. The bullets passed through him, and so did the blissful realization that the voice had been speaking the truth. He took control of the world with a ruthless efficiency as its new lord and master. Why can't I write something that makes sense? Now I'm writing about a guy who can't write something. I wanted to get out of the city and write something worth writing, but now look at me. To quote F. Scott Fitzgerald, it was always the becoming he dreamed of, never the being. It's always the worst when another writer can sum up your life better than you can.
Interior, a New Year's party, late afternoon. A ladies' man with a fake accent and a tiny mustache talks loudly to a woman who has fallen for his lies.
It's what I want you to do. Do you know what I want you to do? No?
No.
I want you to love me. To love me. To love me and then be gone. Do you understand, my dear?
That doesn't seem like love.
That word has lost whatever meaning it once held. Love. You call someone your lover, and what does that mean? Does that mean that you love them above all others? No. It simply means that you sleep with them. So why should the word of love be any different? I use it as all use it. But now be gone from me.
What?
You do not understand me? Be gone!
He sends the girl off packing. Eliza approaches him. Edward is standing in the corner dribbling beer all over himself. What a moron.
How is you doing, my love? Don't you think it's weird that this party's so early?
I've been watching you. That sounds somewhat stalkerish, but you interest me.
I know. But thanks. I can always appreciate the compliment.
Good. I'm glad. Do I interest you?
What's not to like?
You don't even know me.
That's why I ask what's not to like.
Oh. Well, I don't think I have any flaws.
Well, then there you are. I love you already. You are definitely a beautiful woman. The finest at this party.
Really? Thanks.
Anything for you?
That's my boyfriend over there.
Then why are you over here talking to me?
Because I'm sick of losers.
Well, I'm not a loser.
I'm alone. Not a person in sight. And I can't escape being called a loser. Just write something simple.
Interior, a library, afternoon. Edward sits at a table with 3 people hanging off his every word.
And then it turns out, okay, I was the one who had herpes.
The table erupts with much-deserved laughter, whatever the joke might have been. Edward reels it in. Suddenly, Edward's eyes are drawn to someone across the library. He excuses himself.
Excuse me.
Edward gives the passing student a Top Gun high five. We'll have to ask someone later if this is too much.
Please excuse me. I couldn't help but notice that you were staring at me.
I'm sorry. I couldn't look away. I've seen all your movies.
You know, I have bigger problems in my life than having beautiful women stare at me. Do you mind if I sit down?
Please. Please!
Edward is shocked by the loudness of her pleas, but due to her beauty, he continues.
So, what's your name?
My name's Eliza. My friends call me Liz. You can call me whatever you want.
My name's Edward DeBont. My friends call me Bond. I hate it.
I would never call you Bont. You're not a Bont.
That's exactly what I say.
I'm sure we have a lot of other things in common.
We do?
You want to get out of here?
One question, Edward. Who cares about Edward fricking DeBont? No one. Or you wouldn't be here on this worthless island for what must be 3 weeks. If people cared, they would have found you by now. Your life isn't interesting because you spend more time daydreaming of one than having one. How can you write without a life? Hopefully someone will come along and poison your drinking water. Too bad there isn't anyone on the island to poison you, or any poison for that matter. Just write one scene. Edward and Eliza are working at the library. They are holding stacks of books trying to figure out where they should be returned.
I don't know where this book goes.
You don't.
No, I don't.
You're pathetic.
We have to do this here.
I've changed.
Into what?
A better woman.
What, a woman who's too good for me? Is that what you're saying?
I don't need you anymore.
Well, I need you.
You do.
Yeah, I do.
You think you do.
I know I do.
You don't know anything.
I know I love you.
I want you to die!
It is simple, but people don't actually act like that, do they? I don't even know what's good anymore. I only know action movies. I'm left with nothing. Nothing! I can't write about people shooting each other for drugs or money anymore. I can do better. Can't I? I'll just sit here until I think of something better. Edward is alone and dressed in a fashionable suit. He looks furious. He paces but has nowhere to go.
Why don't we just forget about this whole thing? We says it never happened, huh? How about that? Why don't we do that? Why don't you and me just forget about it? I'll tell you why.
Edward follows the lead of his bullets. The patrons continue to study. They have a test approaching, and no man or gunfire is going to stop them from cramming. He finds Eliza standing frozen to her spot.
You barely missed me.
It would have killed you.
You could have killed me.
I'm with these guns more than I'm with women. Look at you. You can't escape it. You know, this is all you can do. Here you are, surrounded by a beautiful island, and you're writing about women and guns. You know, I'm glad you're gonna die alone on this island. Why can't you write something that means anything? You know, why couldn't you live a life when you had a chance? Your chance is gone. Now you're here, wasting your life on an island.
Edward DeBont sits on the beach, holding a spiral notebook and his pockets are filled with pens. He looks up from his paper to the ocean and what surrounds him. My name is Edward DeBont. I have been on this deserted island now for 3 weeks. My ship crashed. I don't know where I am, and I see no end in sight. All things considered, it could be worse. I could not be on an island paradise. I have spent my life as a writer, as a man who has been fooled into believing that writing is only valuable if it is profitable. For a long time now, I have just wanted to get away and write something actually worth writing. Edward puts down his pen and notebook next to him, and he empties out his pocket of pens. He leaves it all behind him and retreats to the rest of the island. He begins to search for materials he can use. I've written so much about other people's lives, but I have yet to make the life I want to lead. I can imagine it, but I never do it. I've been on this island for more than 3 weeks now, and I have yet to build myself a shelter. I think it is time for me to let my life begin. It is time for me to take my life into my hands and move beyond the pen.